Hi, it's Mr. Casabater. I'm here to talk to you today about assignment number 3 for all you Art 3-4s in my 6th period class. The assignment number 3 is going to be ordinary to extraordinary drawing, and we're going to explore mixed media. This is a good step forward from the collages that we did with paper. And so what I'd like you to do first is pick a symbol, look into symbolism, but pick a symbol that you think you make a connection with or has a narrative or a story behind it. And, have it be something that you can relate to, and draw it in your sketchbook so that you really understand what that object looks like. Draw it from several angles. You could even do what Picasso did and overlap those drawings in several places just to add interest to it. The approach we'll talk a little bit about in a minute can be semi-realistic all the way to extremely abstract. All right, so we're going for interest and textures and layers. This work, it's difficult for me to find images that aren't copyrighted, but I have a link in the assignment page of Joseph Giunta, I believe that's how you pronounce it, but heavily textured layers, also very abstract to the point now we can't really even tell what this is. For some reason, I keep seeing maybe like a pocket watch. This reminds me of water along the outside, but we're not really sure. But a very interesting piece, very rich in color and texture, shape and form, even the composition. I spend a lot of time, and I'm sure he has spent a lot of time considering the composition of this piece. So those are the sorts of things that I want you to consider in this assignment. Here are some more websites that you can check out. Here's Joseph Giunta's webpage. Valerie Armstrong's another one. Erica Schultz is another one. Even something like Frida Kahlo's work, if you look at her work, you could get inspiration from that as well. We discussed Pablo Picasso back in Art 1. You could certainly look up some of his ideas, the ideas that he has of masks and other things that he kind of makes become abstract. All right, and the focus areas of your final mixed media piece is composition. Composition is really important. You don't want to have a lot of negative space in your image. I'd like to use the entire area that you're working in. You can work in any size. Technique, try different techniques. I'd encourage you to experiment in your sketchbook before you do your final one. Originality and expressiveness of your drawing and the way you make marks. You're also going to use layers, at least 3 layers. Use of media and craftsmanship. Now, because some of you are doing this at home, you're going to use what you have. Be creative. Start with a base. You could use mat board, watercolor paper. Cardboard is fine. I have a video of an artist doing some of her work directly on cardboard. Cardboard's also really cool if you have the double thickness where you can peel it back and it reveals a really interesting texture. You can also use flour and water, and you can look up other recipes to make your own textured paste. Use a variety of drawing materials. If you have watercolors or acrylics, you could use those. Some other things that work, charcoal, adding junk mail. If you you've done collage now, so you kind of know some of the possibilities that even just simple paper can create. So junk mail, old clothing, maybe there's even interesting hardware, little pieces on old clothing that you could use. Cereal and other food boxes, magazines, any other found objects can work as well. So to get this started, start with some drawings. Like I said, you can overlap, really observe and draw something that interests you or maybe tells a story about you or someone you know. And just slowly build up those layers. I would recommend starting with a single field of color or even just a black and white value, and then build up your colors. Gradually adding another drawing or two on top of your collage, and then slowly adding texture elements to the collage. You can also add found objects. You can use paint and pen on top of that. And do your best to completely cover the board. Again, I'm not really limiting what size. You can do whatever size you want. Do not spend a lot of money on supplies. Be resourceful, use what you have, be creative. And then I have a video that shows you an artist's work that is very creative and costs very little money to do. Also remember that I can give you supplies. You just have to let me know ahead of time, and I can drop it off in the lobby for you to pick up. So just a few requirements: minimum of 3 layers. 5 is preferred. Okay, at least 5, but get as many layers in there as you can. 1 object or drawing from life, something symbolic, something that's meaningful to you. Create that strong composition and visual movement. I want to spend a lot of time looking at your picture and your composition. So spend some time really putting that together. We're looking for unified colors and theme. And this isn't a requirement, but the final piece can become abstract. So I don't have to look at your picture and say, oh, that's a butterfly. If it looks good, it's good. You know my saying. So keep that in mind, that don't be concerned if it starts to really become abstract and you don't even really recognize what it is anymore. The original image is similar to that I showed you. And I could look at this all day, and it wouldn't even really matter what size, if it was the size of a postage stamp or it's a large banner on my wall. I just think it's really interesting to look at. So that's assignment 3. Let me know if you have any questions. You'll have 2 to maybe 3 weeks to finish that. That's all for now. Thanks.